get across to the management. Mr. Chalasani, thank you so much for joining us on NDTV Profit. Can you give us more details of the order which has been backed by you? I believe this is a repeat order. What is the scope and when will it start showing on your books?
Yeah, this is a repeat order, as I rightly said, and in fact, this is the third project we'll be doing it for Petronas Group. So therefore, Petronas has been our repeat client. We just completed a large, over 500 kilometers of pipeline for them, and this project is a new one now. This is basically civil works and connected tank farms for their refinery and petrochemical integrated development complex, which the order just got issued. So therefore, we should see the start showing in the revenues probably by starting from towards the end of Q3.
All right. So what are the margins that you enjoy on this kind of project?
Normally, we are currently working towards 10% plus profit margins for most of our projects.
Right. Mr. Chalasani, could you also give us a timeline of the completion of this particular project?
So this is about a 3-year project.
And the work has already started?
It just got awarded. It's an EPC project, so there's an engineering, there's a procurement, there's a construction piece of it on this.
And with this particular project, where does your current order book stand?
We reached now roughly about 25,000 crores of order backlog. And this year, if you look at this financial year, till now we booked about 10,000 crores orders worth till date. And 100% of it has come from outside India.
Right. Can you tell us what is the outlook since most of your order book has been abroad? Do you see that improving further, or will you start focusing on some of the domestic orders? Because, you know, we've not really seen a lot of activity in any explorations, and that has also hit a snag. But could that improve?
See, right now, if you look at it, our top line, even last year, if you see, 2/3 of the revenue has come from outside and 1/3 from India. This year, till now, the order book has been quite strong from the external projects. But we are hoping, and we're not just hoping, we're confident that the Indian market will start changing now with the new government in. We're already seeing some movement in the road EPC businesses. So we just put in some bids for roads, and then some more bids are due this month. And I understand many more road projects are lined up. We have put in some bids for the metro projects. Therefore, we are seeing some progress in India, but I see that most of it would fructify into contracts maybe by Q4 of this year. So India will pick up. And till then, we'll continue to be active in outside Indian markets on this, and we'll continue to expand there.
What about your projects in the MENA region? Because there are some geopolitical tensions still persisting there. What is the strategy there?
See, we just won a project in Kuwait for $236 million, which we announced recently. That's a new addition to our project on this. And we're doing a project in Brunei. And as far as the Libya is concerned, if your question is about the Libya, yes, that's where right now we're doing a wait and watch sort of a concept on this. The progress is slightly stopped now, so we're just waiting and seeing how it's going to happen. How the things will fan out, we'll have to wait and watch.
Right. Hi, sir, this is Pankaj joining in from the Bombay studios. Just wanted to get a sense on the ongoing coal issue in terms of, what has been coming up in SC, if it's get deallocated, what sort of an impact can it have on the power sector? You've been associated with it for long. Any thoughts on that front?
Yeah, this is purely, I can comment on it as based on my experience in power sector, not as a managing director of Punj Lloyd. Because Punj Lloyd is not related anyway with the power sector except the EPC of the power sector on this basis. I'd always been saying that one of the major reasons or the major requirements for power sector to grow in this country is the fuel. So I always said that if there are 10 critical issues, number 1 to number 5 is fuel, whether it's coal or the gas or any other fuel on this. The quicker we get out of this uncertainty of the coal blocks, and then the work on how do you actually make more and more domestic coal available to the power sector, better for the sector on this. So as you know, the Indian power sector or the Indian is extremely sensitive to the tariff on this. Our tariff elasticity is very, very limited. So So therefore, it's not the question of availability of fuel. Availability of fuel is available even today. The imported coal is available, imported LNG is available. You can always get them. But the Indian power sector can't afford. So therefore, the only solution we have is the domestic coal availability, which is what is today in completely in uncertain mode. So unless that is removed and you quickly start producing more and more coal and giving to the power sector, we will be in deep trouble.
Right, but say on a worst-come basis, if it is deallocated and re-auctioned, do you think that there would be demand for that? I mean, is that something which is a viable option according to you? Will that have some demand as per your understanding of the sector?
See, the fuel is must, and the domestic coal is must from that angle on this. Having said that, as I said, that the Indian power sector is extremely sensitive towards the tariffs. When you do the auction, so we should also ensure that the auction doesn't lead to a very high fuel cost. So then again, you get into the similar set of issues. Whenever the fuel cost is high, so you got into problem in those projects on this basis. It's a bit of a caution. The auction is nice. It's very, very transparent way of allocating coal blocks. But at the end of the day, our sector can't really afford very high tariffs. So how do you balance between realizing the initial auction price vis-a-vis the availability of coal at cheaper rates for the power sector is an extremely important and critical issue. So these two are two opposite objectives of this. So the auction is that you want to maximize your prices. The second thing is if you maximize the coal block auction prices, then your coal prices will go up, your tariffs will go up, and we don't have that sort of a capacity to absorb higher tariffs. So we need to see how that gets managed.
Right. So just a last word before we conclude. Today's one of the reports has that Power Ministry has gone ahead and proposed to give coal linkages to new power projects at a discounted rate, which can be close to about 1,500 rupees a ton versus an import cost of 4,000. Do you think that such linkages, such providing slightly cheaper coal from Coal India for certain projects where there are really some issues of coal and coal sourcing, can that be a viable option for the growth of power sector?
Obviously, as long as there is a transparent way of fixing the coal price and then the coal price is passed on the tariffs to the off-taker in turn to the normal consumer, on this it's a good concept to work on, because even at 1,500 it's quite economical compared to getting an imported coal and then burning them on this. I think the more important is not just the price alone. With the domestic coal, it's also important is to ensuring the quantity availability and the quality availability. So in India today, with the coal supplies, domestic coal supplies, you have an issue of quantity, quality, and price, all three of them.
Right. Mr. Chalasani would also like to understand, what are the plans of the company going ahead from here on in terms of reducing your debt, and what's the exact debt level that the company has right now?
We're currently at around 6,500 crores debt level as of now, and we're working towards reducing our debt cost. As I've been on record earlier, we're working hard to see that can we reduce this debt by 35 to 40% by 35 to 40% by end of this financial year. There are a couple of 2 or 3 alternatives we're looking at to reduce the debt. One is our non-core asset monetization, and the second is that we have some large claims which are pending for quite some time on this, and which we are working in a focused way to get the claim amounts which are legitimately due to us on this. And both these processes is what we want to use those proceeds towards reducing our debt.
And just a quick word as to, you'll be starting this process around what time, third quarter or fourth quarter?
Reduction of debt, you will gradually see starting from Q3.
In Q3. Thank you so much, sir.
One more question from my side. Your board had approved issues of non-convertible debentures. Can you tell us how much amount of money you're looking to raise? And is there any refinancing that you're planning? Because at one level you're selling off core assets, the other level you're raising more debt.
This is it's more of a refinancing of an existing debt and meeting the cash flow requirements, and but not increasing the debt.
How much? What is the extent of fundraising here?
Let's see. Board just got approved. We're looking at various options. So I think we will let everybody know it shortly.
So any word on the promoters looking at selling stake in Medanta Medicity?
we are looking at monetizing that particular the asset what we have. We own about 17% equity in that, and we're trying to do a combination of various things. How do we monetize that asset?
Can you give us a timeline? Because we're hearing that you're in talk with strategic investors, and what is the extent of fundraising you're looking at by selling this asset?
Timeline is Q3. It would definitely happen in Q3, as far as the timing is concerned. Let's see, you have a benchmark for this price in the market, which recently, a few months back it happened. So that is what is the benchmark price.
All right, Mr. Chalasani, thank you so much for joining us on NDTV Profit and giving us more details about the order backed by Punj Lloyd, about the plans to pair debt, refinancing and selling non-core assets.